Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of articles about Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico character. Star Wars Crazy Rich Asians director pitches Rose Tico series for Disney+. We'll get into that article later on, but first we have another one to get through. Kelly Marie Tran is in even less of the Rise of Skywalker than we thought. So let's read this article and see what's going on. Of the many complaints lodged against the Rise of Skywalker, one of the most persistent has been the sidelining of Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico. When she was first introduced in The Last Jedi, Rose became the first woman of color to play a significant role in the Star Wars universe, and Tran became the first Asian American actress to star in the franchise. Earlier this year, the Rise of Skywalker director and co-writer J.J. Abrams said that casting Tran was the greatest thing The Last Jedi's Rian Johnson did. But however grateful Abrams may have been, the gratitude did not translate onto on-screen time. Effectively a co-lead in The Last Jedi, Rose is reduced to a bit part in The Rise of Skywalker. Her absence from the plot flimsily explained by her need to stay at the Rebel base and pore over the specs of Imperial Star Destroyers. I always thought J.J. Abrams sounded two-faced when he said Rose Tico was the greatest asset that Rian Johnson did by adding her to the movie franchise, thus showing that J.J. is just a liar. Fans of Rose were quick to lodge complaints on Twitter, and Nerdist argued that Abrams had treated her with less respect than Jar Jar Binks received in Attack of the Clones. Just how bad is it? I conducted an investigation watching both The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker with my finger posed over a stopwatch app, and while I noticed Rose's glaring lack of a presence, the results surprised even me. In The Rise of Skywalker's 2 hours and 22 minutes, she appears for just 1 minute and 16 seconds, give or take a few seconds. Even 1/16 is a fairly liberal appraisal. While I tried to be strict about only letting the timer run when Rose was actually on screen, my definition of on screen was generous. For example, I included the scene at the end where she hugs Chewbacca at the Rebel base. Although it's possible to argue that she wasn't quite in the foreground of the action, I was so alert for any sign of Rose that I even included the part where she is only seen in partial profile, staring intently at Poe while he speaks. The impact of Tran's part in The Last Jedi can't be measured in time alone, but even so, the difference is stark. Learn to spell, its difference is stark. Rose appears on screen for 10 minutes and 53 seconds of The Last Jedi's 2 hours and 32 minutes. Johnson hasn't publicly commented on The Rise of Skywalker, but he did post a picture of Tran resplendent in a red gown at the movie's premiere, accompanied by an emoji of a queen's crown. Oh, how nice for the round-headed soy boy to say and tweet that out, huh? Tran's absence in The Rise of Skywalker is especially troubling because she became the target of widespread racist harassment. That's a lie. After The Last Jedi was released, to the extent that she had to delete her Instagram account, those are still lies, and she might have erased her account, but there was no evidence that she actually was being harassed by racists and misogynists. That the new movie not only stunts her aside, but does so without bringing any closure to her character, makes it seem as if Abrams caved into some of Star Wars' worst fans, or at the least that there was no involved, who understand how deeply Rose's casual exclusion would hit those to whom she meant so much. A minute and 16 seconds may not be much time to work with, but more thoughtful filmmaking might have been able to alleviate even those few seconds to something that did more justice to Rose's character, who essentially saved the day in The Last Jedi. And now we're back to the first article. So get ready to hear about a crazy director who thinks this, minor and sideline character in The Rise of Skywalker deserves her own series. Fan momentum seems to be building for a Star Wars spin-off series centered on Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico after her lack of screen time in The Rise of Skywalker. The former Resistance mechanic made headlines when the newest Star Wars film seemed to sideline her character. In fact, she's only on screen for a mere 1 minute and 16 seconds as opposed to 10 minutes and 53 seconds in The Last Jedi. This screen time shrinkage has prompted anger from fans including John M. Chu, director of Crazy Rich Asians and the upcoming movie musical In the Heights. Fan momentum for a Rose Tico series, huh? I really don't think there is any momentum building up for that because, as far as I know, a lot of people don't like the character, and while, yes, Rose Tico's character was sidelined in The Rise of Skywalker, she was also promoted to being a general, as I understand. So you can't say that this character hadn't, well, evolved and become more prominent since the last movie. Okay, at Disney Plus, he tweeted, "Put me in a couch. Let's make this series happen." At hashtag Rose Tico deserved better at Star Wars, Chu was alluding to a groundswell movement among fans to petition Disney for a standalone series for Rose Tico, which, like the company is doing to Cassian Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. First off, you don't spell 4 with a real 4 in it, you know. Rose's minimization in Episode 9 is unfortunately understandable, given how she was one of the most polarizing elements of The Last Jedi. After the release of the film, she became the target of a racist social media harassment campaign. No, she wasn't, leading to her delete her Instagram and nearly disappear from social media altogether. Whilst this is another element of The Rise of Skywalker erasing the actions of its predecessor, a spin-off series could be a nice way to put the spotlight back on a sidelined character. Your so-called sidelined character is a character most people don't really like. For one thing, she was a diversity hire by Disney to try and appeal to the Asian market, and a lot of the time that didn't work because Japanese people saw her as not Japanese because she was Korean, one of the worst things you could possibly do, because the Japanese have a real prejudice against Korean people, and basically trying to use her to appeal to them is like, well, using a squeaking mouse to appeal to an elephant. That's what you're basically trying to do there. Not to mention that I have heard a great many people find her character irritating and, well, they dislike the way she looks. Mainly because, well, Disney insisted in putting her in a burlap sack of a costume and insisting on shooting her in such a way as to make her look fat to try and appeal to, well, the diverse body crowd, because we need to have that in our fantasy space movie with fantasy space wizards in it, right? But now we have to deal with this director, John M. Chu, insisting on throwing his hat into the ring because he wants to be a race hustler and basically promote a movie with a character that basically everyone hates and just find irritating and annoying. This John M. Chu is only doing this basically to get himself some brownie points with the SJW crowd and to basically ingratiate himself with the higher-ups in Hollywood because he thinks this is the way to rise up in the world. And that's a terrible thing to say, because he's using this girl, Kelly Marie Tran, to try and basically promote himself, because he's a race hustler. At least what he's doing now is called race hustling, and that's what I feel like he's doing. But I really don't think Disney is going to go for it, because of all the bad publicity they're getting with all these, well, their Disney trilogy characters. I think they will probably try and, well, make sure that Kelly Marie Tran is given something, but probably not her own TV series on Disney Plus, because they already have enough problems with it and Star Wars right now to last a decade, I'd say. So they don't need to be basically pissing off any more people, and not just the fans, but also the common TV stream watcher, by creating a series that no one will want to watch with a character that has as much charisma as a porcupine. That's basically what she is to me, because I can't help but see her as a fat little porcupine woman because she has such a prickly personality from what I've seen of her. And a minority of people want to give this character her own Disney Plus series. Oh god, that's going to be painful to watch. If you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is currently doing a subscriber purge and an ad revenue purge, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, read comics, they're bad for you. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video? Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere you think it would do the most good, because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. Keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.